Has there ever been a celebration in the NBA colder, more iconic, and more unforgettable than Allen Iverson's step over after crossing up his defender? We've seen plenty of legendary moves over the years. LeBron's iconic silencer, MJ and Kobe's signature fist pump, even Steph's playful night-night that's taken over in recent seasons. But Iverson's step over delivered right after breaking someone's ankles or drilling a clutch jumper hits on a whole different level. It wasn't about yelling, dancing, or over-the-top gestures. It was raw, it was defiant, and it was powerful. That step over was a statement. I own this moment, and there's nothing you can do about it. It wasn't rehearsed, it wasn't polished or flashy. It was pure emotion. A quick, confident step over that said everything without a single word. Allen Iverson changed basketball forever with his fearless play, his style, his heart, and his cultural impact. Even without a championship ring, he left behind moments that are etched in the soul of the game. So, without further ado, I present to you the legend himself, Allen Iverson, the smallest man on the court, yet somehow the most unstoppable force. Just 6 feet tall, really closer to 5'11", and only 165 pounds in a league full of 7-foot monsters. On paper, Allen Iverson shouldn't have survived, let alone dominated. But he didn't just survive, he changed the game. Long before the NBA lights found him, Allen Iverson almost saw his dream vanish. By 17, Iverson was a hometown hero in Hampton, Virginia. He had led Bethel High School to state championships in both basketball and football and was named Virginia's Player of the Year in both sports. A rare two-sport prodigy. Recruiters from top colleges were ready to fight over him. Then came February 14, 1993. A bowling alley fight erupted. Chairs were thrown, chaos spread. Iverson, by many witnesses' accounts, had already left when the worst violence happened. But he was the town's most recognizable teenager. The next day, he and a few friends were arrested. The prosecutor waited until Iverson turned 18 so he could be tried as an adult. A judge sentenced him to 17 years in prison, suspending all but 5. Overnight, the nation's most electrifying high school athlete looked like a lost cause. The sentence sparked protests and marches. Virginia's governor, Doug Wilder, saw a TV feature about the teen star's plight and granted him conditional clemency after 4 months behind bars. When Iverson returned home, his mother refused to give up on him. She drove to Washington, D.C. to meet John Thompson, Georgetown's giant of a coach who had a reputation of saving young men from tough circumstances. Thompson agreed to take Iverson in to guide him, discipline him, and protect him from a media circus. That chance changed everything. Iverson went from being an almost forgotten inmate to the next big thing in college basketball. The first crossover of his life wasn't on a basketball court. It was from the brink of losing everything to standing again on the path to greatness. Arriving at Georgetown University, Iverson was lightning in sneakers, all speed, raw talent, and unpolished edges. He had the burst to blow by anyone, but still lacked that signature move. Enter Dean Berry, an unheralded walk-on guard. Berry didn't have Iverson's athletic gifts, so he relied on film study. He would rewind and replay VHS tapes of great guards for hours, breaking down every hesitation, every dribble angle. One day in practice, Berry used a crafty hesitation crossover to beat Iverson clean. Rather than get angry, Iverson showed humility. Teach me that. That single moment changed basketball. With Iverson's quick first step and Berry's nuance, the move became nearly unguardable. Defenders who stayed back were blown by. Those who lunged at the ball got their ankles twisted as Iverson crossed over and left them reaching at air. Under John Thompson, Iverson learned to channel his gifts within structure. He sharpened his defense, leading the Big East in steals and being named Defensive Player of the Year twice. He averaged 25 points, 4.7 assists, 3.4 steals per game in his 2 college seasons, and carried the Hoyas deep into March. Off the court, he remained humble and close to his family. After his sophomore year, he made the tough decision to declare for the draft, becoming the first player ever to leave Georgetown early under Thompson. The reason was personal. His family needed financial security, and the NBA was the only way to provide it. By 1995, Iverson was no longer just a high school kid with potential.
So Iverson, after missing his first three, knocks down his next two, and that's the margin for the Sixers.
He was a lightning bolt with a handle that defenders would soon fear, the move that would one day shake even Michael Jordan.
Watch this.
The Philadelphia 76ers selected Iverson with the #1 overall pick in 1996.
With the first pick in the 1996 NBA draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Allen Iverson from Georgetown University,
making him the shortest and lightest top pick in league history. Many doubted whether his style would translate to the pros. From day one, he proved it would. In his NBA debut, he dropped 30 points. A few weeks later, he strung together 5 straight games of 40-plus points,
A fresh 24, Iverson,
including a 50-point night against Cleveland's elite defense. The defining moment of his rookie season came in March 1997 against his idol Michael Jordan.
Very quick move. He goes to left is right, is left is right, and he comes up with a jumper.
With the crowd buzzing, Iverson sized up MJ at the top of the key. A quick pound dribble, a sharp fake right, a sudden cross left, Jordan slid off balance. Iverson rose up and hit the jumper. It was more than 2 points. It was a message that the new generation had arrived. That night, he scored 37 points on 15 of 23 shooting, outshining the greatest player of the era.
Watch this.
Very quick move. He goes to left is right, is left is right, and he comes up with a jumper.
Iverson finished his rookie season averaging 23.5 points and 7.5 assists per game, earning Rookie of the Year honors. He also became the youngest player ever to score 50 in a game at the time. Despite Philadelphia's struggles in the standings, the franchise finally had a face, a fearless small guard who attacked the paint against giants and refused to back down from anyone, not even Michael Jordan himself.
There, as Hornets went flying, ankles were broken, as Allen has a dozen here in the first half.
In 1997, the Sixers hired Larry Brown.
The head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers, Larry Brown. Yeah.
A veteran coach known for discipline and structure, Brown believed in organized sets, crisp passing, and everyone showing up early. Iverson believed in instinct, freedom, and playing by feel. The clash was immediate.
Right. Just being defiant, being a certified asshole for nothing, when all he wanted was the best for me.
Iverson sometimes skipped practice or arrived late. Brown suspended him more than once and criticized him publicly. Trade rumors swirled. At one point, a deal sending Iverson to Detroit nearly went through, yet Brown also saw something in his young star, a competitiveness that couldn't be coached. To unlock that, he made a bold change, shifting Iverson from point guard to shooting guard.
Tied at 9, approaching the halfway point of the first. Iverson and Bryant resume their war. Allen.
Many analysts thought it was crazy. How could a 6-foot, 165-pound guard survive as a shooting guard? Instead, Iverson thrived.
Which will help any player, but particularly someone who's such a good shooter.
Iverson pulling it back and then hitting. What a move by Iverson.
Boy, did that excite Jerry Stackhouse, too, with his reaction.
With less responsibility to run the offense and more freedom to attack, he won his first scoring title in 1998-99 with 26.8 points per game.
Great play by Allen. Good catch by Montrose.
The Sixers made the playoffs for the first time in 8 years. The coach-player relationship remained stormy, but their partnership was proving effective. Brown's structure and Iverson's freedom was slowly forming a combustible but winning formula.
Oh my.
Fire for two!
By the 1999-2000 season, Iverson had become the league's most relentless scorer. He averaged 28 points per game, earned his first All-Star selection, and carried a Sixers roster that lacked a consistent second option.
With 8 points, he was the co-MVP last season. Allen Iverson, beginning to heat up. He now has 6.
His style was simple but deadly. He attacked off the dribble with bursts that left defenders flat-footed. He pulled up in mid-range with a lightning-quick release. He lived at the free throw line, taking the hits and bouncing up again. The Sixers improved, but still fell in the second round to the Pacers for the second straight year. Critics argued Iverson's ball-dominant style wouldn't work in the playoffs against elite defenses. That summer, the Sixers nearly traded him to Detroit in a blockbuster multi-team deal. When the trade fell through at the last minute, Iverson had a sobering realization. He wasn't untouchable. Determined to prove he could lead, not just score, he came into the next season in peak shape and with a renewed focus.
Their last 8 from the line as the Flight brothers look to hook up. Oh!
Iverson and Larry Hughes hooking up as the Flight brothers, taking off one more.
For the first time, Coach Larry Brown and his mercurial superstar were on the same page, setting the stage for the run that would define both their careers.
His ankles and got all the way to the cup for 2 of his 40.
Oh, Allen Iverson, what a move. Allen Iverson.
The 2000-2001 season was the year Allen Iverson truly became the answer. He came into training camp stronger at 172 pounds, healthier and fully committed. The Sixers started the season with 10 straight wins, and Iverson's mix of toughness and relentless scoring set the tone. He averaged 31.1 points, 4.6 assists, and 2.5 steals per game.
With 8 points, he was the co-MVP last season. Iverson, Allen Iverson, beginning to heat up. He now has 6 points.
Winning the league's MVP. The roster around him wasn't built to score, it was built to defend and let him do the heavy lifting. Dikembe Mutombo, the newly acquired center, anchored the defense and protected the rim. Aaron McKie provided steady play as Sixth Man of the Year. Coach Larry Brown's system prioritized grit and hustle, while Iverson provided the firepower.
Intercepted by Lynch. Iverson driving, dishing, Ratliff dunking on Mutombo.
In the playoffs, the Sixers faced one test after another against the Indiana Pacers in round 1. Iverson averaged 31 points, leading Philly past a team that had eliminated them the 2 previous years.
The crowd on its feet. Allen for the win! Yeah!
Next came a legendary duel with Vince Carter and the Toronto Raptors. Game 2, Iverson scored 54 points to even the series.
That's what you want if you're Allen Iverson. You're coming off a...
Game 3, Carter dropped 50 of his own.
Will help tremendously. 4 shots, Vince able to get it back.
Game 5, Iverson erupted for 52 points, 7 assists, and 4 steals, giving the Sixers the edge. Game 7 came down to the final shot. Carter missed at the buzzer, and Philadelphia advanced.
Free. Carter at the buzzer. No good. And the Sixers hold on.
In the Eastern Conference Finals against Ray Allen's Milwaukee Bucks, Iverson played through a painful hip injury. Even with limited mobility, he gutted out a heroic 46 points in Game 6 and sealed the series with 44 points and 7 assists in Game 7.
Iverson will not go away. Puts it in and one. Over the life. Iverson for another 3. Puts it in. Allen Iverson.
The Sixers were back in the NBA Finals for the first time since 1983. Iverson had willed the defensively minded, low-scoring team to the biggest stage in basketball. The 2001 Los Angeles Lakers weren't just good, they looked unbeatable.
Kobe Bryant's 2 free throws.
They were coming off a championship the year before. They had Shaquille O'Neal at his absolute peak, a 7'1", 330-pound force who bulldozed even the best defenders. They had a young but already deadly Kobe Bryant, averaging over 28 points in the playoffs, and they were coached by Phil Jackson, the man with 9 championship rings.
It's a 10-point game. And Dunleavy.
Through the first 3 playoff rounds, the Lakers didn't just win, they swept everyone. They went 11-0, flattening the Blazers, the Kings, and the Spurs. No team had pushed them to the brink. Analysts and fans were talking about a perfect postseason, a clean 15-0 run to the title. And then came Allen Iverson and the Philadelphia 76ers. On paper, the Sixers weren't supposed to stand a chance. Aside from Dikembe Mutombo, the team had no other all-stars. Most of their points came from a guard barely 6 feet tall who had already been battered by hip, elbow, and ankle injuries. Yet, that very guard carried an attitude that couldn't be measured on a stat sheet. He was ready to fight the giant. From the opening tip of Game 1, Iverson set the tone. He attacked with no hesitation, slicing through double teams, twisting his body in midair to score over Shaq's outstretched arms, and drawing fouls again and again. By halftime, he had 30 points and the Sixers led by as many as 15. But the Lakers weren't champions for nothing. Kobe and Shaq mounted a furious comeback in the second half, clawing their way back to tie the game and force overtime.
Kobe off the fake, gives it back, Fox for three.
Most thought that the Sixers' chance had slipped away, that once the Lakers regained control, they would finish the job. Iverson had other plans. In overtime, with the game hanging in the balance, he hit a string of clutch shots. The moment that would define his career came with just over a minute to play. Tyronn Lue, a quick, pesky defender, inserted specifically to slow Iverson down, picked him up near the right baseline. Iverson jab stepped, retreated, then crossed back and rose for a leaning jumper. The ball splashed through the net, Lue stumbled and fell to the floor, and then, without a word, Iverson stepped right over him, eyes forward, expression unchanged as if to say, "You can't stop." That single step became an immortal image, the smallest man on the court towering in spirit over his fallen defender. The Sixers went on to win the game 107-101, handing the Lakers their first loss of the postseason. Iverson finished the night with 48 points, 6 assists, and 5 steals, outdueling Kobe and spoiling Shaq's dominance just long enough to steal Game 1 on the road.
Defend much better right now, Marv.
Here's Iverson, yes, and Allen Iverson.
The victory sent a jolt through the basketball world, proof that heart, speed, and skill could shake even the most unstoppable dynasty. The Lakers, embarrassed, regrouped, and made the necessary adjustments. Phil Jackson double-teamed Iverson more aggressively in the next game. Shaq's sheer size eventually wore the Sixers down.
On the play of the Sixers, Shaq again getting down.
Kobe, relentless on both ends,
Looking to set up teammates and then
delivered big performances. The Lakers took the next 4 games in a row to repeat as champions. But for Iverson, that didn't matter much. In that opening game, he had done something unforgettable. He stood up to a giant, carried an outgunned team on his back, and showed that even a single undersized guard could bend the course of a final series at least for one magical night.
Iverson from way downtown.
More than 2 decades later, whenever fans think of that 2001 finals, the image that pops up first isn't Shaq's dunk or Kobe's footwork, it's Allen Iverson, small in stature, but huge in heart,
The same play again. This time they do a nice job defensively.
hitting that jumper and stepping over Tyronn Lue. That moment defined not just his career, but his legacy. The defiance, the swagger, the refusal to back down no matter the odds. Even in defeat, he walked away a legend. And that one win against the seemingly invincible Lakers remains one of the greatest underdog moments in NBA Finals history.
The Lakers have led by as many as 13.
The 2001 Finals had turned Allen Iverson into a global superstar. He wasn't just a scoring machine anymore, he was the face of the underdog. The man who crossed over Michael Jordan, dragged an undermanned team to the finals, and dropped 48 points on Shaq and Kobe.
Cannot take the foul. He already has one.
Iverson again.
But behind the bright lights and standing ovations, Iverson's body was breaking down. He played every game as if it might be his last, crashing into the lane, hitting the floor a dozen times a night, bouncing up with elbows and knees bleeding. The relentless punishment finally caught up to him.
Pulls into that low post against Iverson.
By the start of the 2001-2002 season, he was already dealing with chronic elbow pain and ankle problems. Yet he refused to sit out unless absolutely necessary. Fans saw the crossovers and the buckets. What they didn't see was the ice packs and grimaces, once the cameras turned away. The Sixers, meanwhile, couldn't recapture their magical run.
He gives the ball to Iverson, wrap-around pass behind the back, underneath.
The team struggled to stay healthy and to find enough scoring help for Iverson. After losing in the first round of the 2002 playoffs to the Boston Celtics, whispers began to circulate in Philadelphia. Maybe the Sixers had gone as far as they could with Iverson as the centerpiece. Trade rumors started to swirl, and they stung the proud superstar. That summer, during a press conference meant to address those rumors, Iverson was asked about his commitment to practice.
I know I'm supposed to be there. I know I'm supposed to lead by example. I know that when you just talk about practice. We sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player. And not a game. We talking about practice. Not the game that I go out there and die for and play every game like it's my last. Not the game. We talking about practice, man. I mean, how silly is that? And we talking about
exhausted, frustrated, and still mourning the recent death of his best friend, he responded with words that would follow him the rest of his life. We talking about practice, not a game. Not a game that I go out there and die for every night. We talking about practice. To Iverson, it was an honest moment, an emotional defense of the fact that despite sometimes missing practices, he left everything on the court during games. But the public saw it differently. Clipped into a soundbite and played over and over, it became a punchline, a symbol for supposed laziness, overshadowing the context of grief and lingering injuries. Iverson's pain was turned into a meme before memes even existed. Despite the controversy, his production barely dipped. He remained among the league's most feared scorers in 2002, and again in 2005, Iverson claimed the scoring title, proving that the competitive fire that fueled his MVP season had not gone out. He routinely played through injuries that would have sidelined most stars and carried the Sixers deep enough into the postseason to keep them relevant. Still, as the seasons passed, the league around him was changing. Defenses became more sophisticated. Rules and schemes focused on slowing down isolation scorers. The pounding of constant drives and the weight of carrying a team with limited offensive options started to take a toll.
Iverson, wow, what a fake on Daniels as he broke his ankles and got all the way to the cup for 2 of his 40.
Iverson's efficiency dropped, and the Sixers, unable to surround him with a strong co-star, kept falling short. The magic of 2001 never truly returned. By the end of the 2005-2006 season, frustration on both sides reached a breaking point. The Sixers front office decided it was time to rebuild. They looked for trade partners, and in December 2006, Iverson's decade-long run in Philadelphia came to an end when he was dealt to the Denver Nuggets. It was a bittersweet farewell. Iverson had arrived in Philadelphia as a fearless rookie with cornrows and a killer crossover. He left as a former MVP, a 4-time scoring champion, an 11-time All-Star, in the face of one of the grittiest eras in the franchise's history.
Iverson against Gill, the crowd on its feet. Allen for the win! Yeah!
The man who had once clashed so fierce with Coach Larry Brown had also delivered some of the franchise's proudest moments since the days of Julius Erving. When he departed, Philadelphia fans were torn, sad to see their hero go, yet thankful for the unforgettable years he had given them. And for Iverson himself, the exit marked the end of his prime. He was still quick, still deadly, but the toll of playing through countless injuries was mounting, and the move to Denver signaled that his greatest chapter, the Philadelphia chapter, had officially closed. The practice rant may have been misunderstood, but in many ways, it summed up Allen Iverson's career. Raw emotion, relentless competitiveness, unfiltered honesty, and a reminder that, for him, the games were everything. Practice was preparation, but the games were war. And no matter the criticism, he was always ready for the fight. After the magical 2001 run, Iverson's battles shifted off the court. Injuries piled up as his fearless style took its toll. In 2002, a season filled with absences and frustration, he gave the now famous "We Talking About Practice" press conference. The clip became iconic for its defiance, but many overlooked the grief behind it. Iverson had recently lost a close friend and was playing through pain. Despite the struggles, he remained one of the league's elite scorers, winning 3 more scoring titles and consistently averaging around 30 points per game. In 2006, the Sixers traded him to the Denver Nuggets, where he teamed with Carmelo Anthony and enjoyed a brief resurgence, including a 55-point playoff game. But as his speed began to fade and he resisted coming off the bench, his career wound down with stints in Detroit, Memphis, and a final emotional return to Philadelphia. The numbers stayed remarkable, but the chase for a championship had ended. Allen Iverson retired with 24,368 career points, averaging 26.7 points per game in the regular season and 29.7 in the playoffs. Second only to Michael Jordan. He was an 11-time All-Star, 7-time All-NBA selection, 4-time scoring champion, and the 2001 MVP. But his influence went far beyond the box score. Iverson changed the way guards played the game, showing that a smaller player could dominate with quickness, skill, and toughness. He also changed the league's culture, making braids, arm sleeves, and a fearless attitude part of basketball's global image. His crossover inspired a generation of guards. His heart inspired players and fans who felt overlooked. Kobe Bryant once said, "We're lucky Allen Iverson wasn't 6'5". That remark captured the respect Iverson commanded even from his fiercest rivals. He may not have won a championship, but he redefined what greatness could look like. Allen Iverson will always be remembered as the answer, the player who proved that size, odds, and expectations can all be crossed over.